What if cruelty wasn't something that came from the outside world, but rather something deeply embedded within the human mind? Beneath the surface of our thoughts lies the potential for darkness, even among those we consider good or moral. In William Golding's Lord of the Flies, a group of children, free from the constraints of civilization, slowly transform into something far more sinister. It's not nature that corrupts them. It's their own unchecked minds. This unsettling reality challenges us to confront a harsh truth. Cruelty often emerges not from external forces, but from within us, shaped by psychological and emotional triggers. It is terrifying to realize that even the most well-intentioned individuals can, under certain circumstances, descend into cold-heartedness. History gives us endless examples of ordinary people turning into instruments of cruelty, often without personal gain. But why? Because deep down, the mind is capable of rationalizing nearly anything when it feels justified. These moments, when cruelty surfaces for no clear benefit, leave us questioning the true nature of humanity. Is it possible that malevolence isn't always conscious, but a byproduct of passivity and disillusionment? John Stuart Mill once said, "All that is necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." Think about that for a moment. The atrocities of our world often aren't driven by villains or masterminds, but by the inaction of good people. The silent observers, those who watch and do nothing, are often just as culpable. Their passive role, motivated by fear, indifference, or disbelief, enables cruelty to thrive. How many horrors could have been prevented if those standing by had simply acted? If this reflection resonates with you, consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video. Together, we can continue exploring these complex human dynamics and uncover the darker sides of our nature. It's time to confront the uncomfortable truth about our own passivity before it's too late. Atrocities don't happen in isolation. While the violent actions of a few might capture the headlines, the real enablers are often the silent majority, those who stand by and allow evil to unfold without raising a finger. It's easy to assume that the world's horrors are perpetrated by a select group of malicious individuals, but what we often overlook is how much harm comes from the inaction of the many. The majority, in their silence, give power to the minority who act. This passivity is the hidden force behind many of the darkest chapters in history. Imagine the countless societal injustices that occur because people turn away or stay quiet. Whether out of fear, indifference, or a sense of helplessness, the majority often choose to remain in the shadows. When we look back at moments of moral disaster, it becomes clear that silence is far from neutral. It's a choice, and often a dangerous one. By refusing to take a stand, the silent masses allow evil to grow unchecked, giving space for cruelty to flourish in the world. What's more unsettling is the realization that this passivity is not always a conscious decision. People convince themselves that they're powerless, that their voice wouldn't make a difference, or that someone else will intervene. This mindset creates a collective paralysis where no one speaks up, and as a result, the malicious few are free to act without resistance. The truth is, the majority hold the power to stop atrocities before they even begin, but only if they choose to. If you find this thought-provoking, make sure to subscribe and like the video. These insights are just the beginning of our journey into understanding how human behavior shapes the world around us. Let's break the silence together and refuse to be bystanders in a world where passivity allows evil to thrive. Most people believe they know the difference between right and wrong. But how often do we truly stop to reflect on our moral choices? More often than not, we rely on common sense to guide us through life's ethical dilemmas. It's quick, familiar, and comfortable. But common sense, while useful in everyday situations, can be dangerously shallow when it comes to the deeper questions of morality. It allows us to navigate without truly confronting the complexities of our values, leaving us vulnerable to making choices that aren't as righteous as they seem. Leo Tolstoy observed that while many people understand the basic principles of right and wrong, few are willing to engage in the profound reflection necessary to grasp the full weight of moral decisions. Instead, they trust their instincts, following the path of least resistance. This reliance on common sense, though convenient, can lead us astray, causing us to justify actions that, upon closer inspection, conflict with our deeper ethical beliefs. The mind, eager for simplicity, often defaults to surface-level morality, missing the bigger picture. What happens when the moral path isn't clear and common sense fails us? In these moments, many choose to defer to the familiar, avoiding the discomfort of moral uncertainty. They convince themselves that if their actions align with societal norms, they must be right. But history has shown us that what's accepted by society is not always what's ethically sound. To follow common sense blindly is to risk becoming complicit in the moral shortcomings of the world around us. If these ideas resonate with you, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Join us as we continue to peel back the layers of human morality, challenging ourselves to go beyond the obvious and into the deeper recesses of ethical thought. Together, we can push beyond common sense and explore the complex truths that guide our actions. C.S. Lewis, in his brilliant work, The Screwtape Letters, offers a chilling perspective on how moral corruption takes root, not in sudden, obvious acts of evil, but in the slow, subtle erosion of values. The demons in Lewis's tale don't tempt humans with grand schemes of destruction. Instead, they use small distractions, gentle nudges, and slight shifts in priorities. The goal isn't to lead people directly into wickedness, but to make morality seem irrelevant, or worse, inconvenient. This is how the descent begins, not with a bang, but with a whisper. The genius of the Screwtape Letters lies in its depiction of how easily people can be led astray without even realizing it. One small compromise here, a little moral apathy there, and before long, the path of least resistance becomes the only path they know. This slow drift away from ethical behavior is often so subtle that people don't notice they've wandered into dangerous territory until it's too late. It's not a matter of choosing evil, it's a matter of being distracted from good. The demons in the story use tactics that are painfully familiar in our modern world. They make humans prioritize practical concerns over deeper moral reflections. Ethics get buried under a pile of responsibilities, stress, and the need to just get through the day. In this environment, it's easy to justify the small ethical slips that accumulate into something far more significant over time. By the time a person realizes they've lost their moral compass, they've already strayed far from the values they once held dear. If you've ever felt like you're being pulled away from your true values, you're not alone. Make sure to subscribe and like this video to stay tuned as we uncover more about these subtle forces that shape our morality. Together, we can stay vigilant against the slow erosion of our ethical integrity, learning to recognize the distractions before they take hold. In the modern world, moral nihilism doesn't always announce itself boldly. Instead, it creeps in quietly, hidden behind the constant noise of distractions. People don't suddenly abandon their values. They simply stop acting on them. Slowly, ethical principles become hollow words, beliefs that are professed but no longer practiced. This quiet decline into moral apathy is perhaps one of the most insidious transformations a person can undergo, because it happens gradually, almost imperceptibly. The distractions of everyday life, work, social obligations, the endless barrage of media constantly pull us away from deeper reflection. In this state of perpetual busyness, our moral compass weakens. We tell ourselves that we still care, that we still know right from wrong. But in reality, our actions reflect something different. This isn't the rejection of morality. It's the abandonment of responsibility. It's a form of unconscious moral nihilism, where principles are kept in theory but are no longer lived out in practice. The danger of this state is profound. People still believe they are moral, yet their behavior shows otherwise. They become blind to their own contradictions, as distractions keep them from ever fully examining their actions. Over time, this disconnect between belief and behavior grows, creating a version of moral nihilism that is passive, not aggressive. It's not that people don't care about morality. They just stop noticing how far they've strayed from it. If you're ready to dig deeper into how distractions shape our morality, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. We'll continue exploring how even the best intentions can be derailed by the subtle forces at work in our minds and society. Together, we can confront these distractions and reignite our commitment to living our values every day. In conclusion, even good people can be led down dark paths, not through dramatic choices, but through subtle shifts in thought, passivity, and distraction. The transformation is gradual, almost imperceptible, but the consequences are real. It's up to us to stay vigilant, reflecting deeply on our values and actions, and resisting the pull of moral apathy. If you found this video insightful, make sure to subscribe, like, and join the conversation in the comments as we continue exploring the complexities of human nature and morality.